Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking on another long-haul adventure through the breathtaking landscapes of Scandinavia in Euro Truck Simulator 2. This delivery starts in the remote coastal town of Andenes, high above the Arctic Circle in Norway, and ends over 1,600 kilometers later in Naantali, Finland. Our cargo for this journey is chimney systems, a valuable and oversized industrial load that demands careful driving across winding mountain roads, coastal highways, ferry crossings, and Finland's endless forests. With nearly 50 hours of in-game driving ahead and almost 1,000 liters of fuel expected to be consumed, this is far from a quick delivery. The route takes us through some of the most spectacular scenery ETS2 has to offer. We'll travel south from Andenes, navigating Norway's dramatic coastline before crossing into Finland. From there, we'll continue through quiet northern towns, dense forests, and long stretches of open highway before reaching the busy port city of Naantali on Finland's southwest coast. This trip is all about realism. There are no shortcuts, just smooth driving, changing weather, realistic traffic, fuel management, and the satisfaction of completing another successful delivery. Whether you're here to relax, enjoy the scenery, or experience the immersive world of ETS2, I hope this journey provides the perfect escape. The haul covers 1,603 kilometers, takes just over 49 hours of in-game time, and showcases why Scandinavia remains one of the most beautiful regions to explore in Euro Truck Simulator 2. Every kilometer brings new views, new roads, and new challenges, making this one of the most enjoyable routes I've driven. If you enjoy realistic trucking content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next journey. It really helps support the channel and allows me to continue creating longer, immersive ETS2 road trips. Now, grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and let's hit the road as we haul this load of chimney systems from Andenes, Norway, all the way to Naantali, Finland. Let's get this delivery underway. Just moments after leaving the loading yard in Andenes, I found myself facing something every truck driver dreads: complete traffic chaos. What should have been a straightforward start to a 1,603-kilometer journey quickly turned into an unexpected standstill. As I approached one of the town's intersections, everything came to a halt. A tour coach had become stuck while attempting a tight turn, blocking both lanes of traffic. At the same time, a white sedan tried to squeeze through the junction from the side street, leaving no room for anyone to move. Within seconds, traffic backed up in every direction, with buses, vans, cars, and trucks all trapped in a growing gridlock. This is one of those unpredictable moments that makes Euro Truck Simulator 2 feel surprisingly realistic. No matter how well you plan your route, you can still be delayed by an accident, poor AI decisions, or a simple traffic bottleneck. As a professional driver, there's not much you can do except stay patient, keep a safe distance, and wait for the road to clear. While the delay wasn't part of the plan, it served as a reminder that long-haul trucking is about much more than simply driving from point A to point B. Every journey has its own challenges, and sometimes the biggest obstacle appears before you've even left town. Fortunately, after several tense minutes, the traffic slowly began to move again. Vehicles carefully maneuvered around the blocked intersection. The coach finally found enough space to complete its turn, and the queue gradually disappeared. With the road finally open, it was time to continue south and begin the long journey toward Naantali. It's moments like these that make every delivery unique. You never quite know what's waiting around the next corner, and that's part of what keeps every ETS2 journey interesting. With the unexpected delay now behind us, it's time to settle back into the driver's seat, get the kilometers rolling again, and continue our 1,600-kilometer adventure across Norway and Finland. The road ahead is long, and this is only the beginning. Just when I thought the traffic couldn't get any more unpredictable, another driver decided to make things even more interesting. Cruising along one of Norway's scenic highways, I spotted something that immediately caught my attention. Coming straight towards me, in my lane, was a fully loaded, articulated truck attempting to overtake traffic on a blind stretch of road. With a solid line separating the lanes and limited space to react, it was one of those heart-stopping moments that every truck driver hopes never to experience. At over 60 kilometers per hour and hauling a heavy load of chimney systems, I couldn't simply swerve out of the way. A fully loaded truck needs plenty of distance to brake, and any sudden movement could easily send the trailer into a dangerous jackknife or roll the cargo. In situations like this, staying calm is just as important as reacting quickly. Thankfully, the oncoming driver realized the mistake just in time. After forcing several vehicles to brake, the truck squeezed back into its own lane with only seconds to spare. Disaster was narrowly avoided, but it was a reminder of how one reckless decision can put dozens of road users at risk. Overtaking is one of the most dangerous maneuvers any driver can perform, especially on two-lane highways like these. Professional truck drivers know that patience is part of the job. Saving a few seconds simply isn't worth risking lives, expensive cargo, or the possibility of closing an entire highway because of a preventable collision. Despite the close call, the journey continued without incident. The Norwegian landscape remained as spectacular as ever, with towering mountains, crystal-clear waters, and long bridges stretching across the fjords. Moments like this certainly get the heart racing, but they also make every successful delivery feel even more rewarding. With over 1,500 kilometers still ahead, there was no time to dwell on what had just happened. I settled back into rhythm of the road, kept a safe following distance, and focused on the long drive toward Naantali. Hopefully, the next truck I meet stays on the correct side of the road. Not long after recovering from the reckless overtake, the journey came to another unexpected stop. Rounding a gentle bend through the Norwegian countryside, I was met with flashing lights, stationary traffic, and what appeared to be a major collision blocking the entire road. Several trucks had become tangled across both lanes, leaving no clear path through. An ambulance had already arrived on scene, weaving its way between stranded vehicles to reach those involved. Cars were backed up in both directions, and every driver was left wondering how long the delay would last. This is the reality of driving on narrow Scandinavian roads. Many of these highways offer little room for error, with sharp bends, steep embankments, and only a single lane in each direction. One mistake, whether it a failed overtake, excessive speed, or simply misjudging a corner, can bring traffic to a complete standstill. As frustrating as delays can be, situations like this remind every professional driver why patience matters. When you're hauling nearly 1,000 liters worth of fuel and a valuable cargo over more than 1,600 kilometers, arriving safely will always be more important than arriving quickly. There's no point rushing if it means putting yourself or others at risk. With nowhere to go, all I could do was set the parking brake, keep a safe distance from the vehicle ahead, and wait for the emergency services to do their job. Every minute spent sitting in traffic adds pressure to the schedule, but it's a small price to pay when lives could be involved. Eventually, traffic controllers began directing vehicles through the scene one at a time. The wrecked trucks were moved aside just enough to create a narrow passage, allowing the long queue of cars and heavy vehicles to slowly continue their journeys. It wasn't a quick process, but seeing everyone move safely again was a welcome sight. Incidents like this are what make Euro Truck Simulator 2 feel so immersive. You can plan the perfect route, manage your fuel, and keep to the speed limit, but you can never predict what you'll encounter around the next bend. With the road finally reopening, it was time to ease back onto the throttle and continue the long haul toward Naantali, hoping the rest of the journey would be a little less eventful. Just when it seemed the road had finally settled down, another dangerous situation unfolded right in front of me. As I entered a sweeping left-hand curve, an oncoming coach suddenly appeared in my lane. At first, I thought it was simply taking a wider line through the corner, but within seconds it became clear the bus had crossed completely over the center line. There was nowhere for me to go. With over 20 tons of truck and trailer behind me, swerving wasn't an option. On one side was the guardrail, protecting a steep embankment, and on the other was a full-size passenger coach bearing down on me. The only safe response was to brake firmly, keep the steering smooth, and hold my position. For a few tense moments, it looked as though a head-on collision was inevitable. The bus driver finally reacted, correcting the steering and slipping back into the proper lane with only meters to spare. It was another close call that sent the heart rate soaring. What makes incidents like this so dangerous is that buses carry dozens of passengers. A mistake by a professional driver doesn't just put their own life at risk. It endangers everyone on board, along with every motorist sharing the road. Whether caused by distraction, fatigue, or simply taking the corner too aggressively, crossing the center line on a narrow Norwegian highway can have devastating consequences. These winding roads demand patience and precision. Visibility is limited around bends. The lanes are narrow, and there is very little room for error. Every curve has to be approached with caution, especially when you're hauling valuable cargo through mountainous terrain. Thankfully, this encounter ended with nothing more than a surge of adrenaline. After the bus disappeared into the distance, I took a deep breath, checked my mirrors, and gradually accelerated back to cruising speed. The truck, the trailer, and the cargo were all unharmed, and the journey could continue. By now, this delivery had become far more eventful than expected. Between reckless overtakes, traffic accidents, and vehicles drifting into the wrong lane, it felt like every hour brought a new challenge. Yet that's exactly what makes long-haul trucking so rewarding. Success isn't measured by how fast you arrive. It's measured by staying calm under pressure, making the right decisions, and delivering your cargo safely, no matter what the road throws at you. After covering hundreds of kilometers through Norway's rugged landscapes, the journey took another unexpected turn, this time at a busy rural junction. What should have been a simple merge onto the main highway had become a complete traffic bottleneck. As I approached the intersection, I could see vehicles backed up in every direction. Trucks, coaches, delivery vans, and passenger cars were all competing for the same stretch of road, with barely enough space for anyone to move. Every driver seemed eager to be first through the junction, but the result was exactly the opposite. Nobody was going anywhere. At the center of the congestion, a few heavy trucks were attempting to turn across the intersection while opposing traffic continued to flow. with long trailers needing extra room to maneuver. Even one hesitant driver was enough to bring the entire junction to a standstill. Within minutes, the queue stretched hundreds of meters in every direction. This is one of those situations that every truck driver encounters sooner or later. Unlike cars, a fully loaded articulated truck can't dart into small gaps or accelerate quickly. Every move has to be planned carefully, especially when hauling valuable cargo. Patience becomes just as important as driving skill. While sitting in the queue, I took the opportunity to check the mirrors, monitor the trailer, and enjoy the peaceful Finnish countryside surrounding the intersection. The forest stretched into the distance, and despite the frustration of the delay, it was hard not to appreciate the scenery. Sometimes, these unexpected pauses offer a chance to slow down and take in the journey rather than simply focusing on the destination. Eventually, traffic began to move one vehicle at a time. Drivers started leaving larger gaps, allowing the waiting trucks to complete their turn safely. Slowly but surely, the congestion eased, and the long line of vehicles crept forward until the road finally opened up again. Long-haul trucking isn't just about covering kilometers. It's about adapting to whatever the road throws at you. Whether it's reckless drivers, accidents, roadworks, or heavy traffic like this, every delay is simply another chapter in the journey. With the intersection finally behind me, and fewer than 1,000 kilometers remaining, it was time to settle back into the driver's seat, bring the truck up to cruising speed, and continue the final leg toward Naantali. The destination was getting closer with every passing kilometer. After nearly 2 days on the road, countless kilometers behind the wheel, and more than a few unexpected challenges along the way, the journey was finally coming to an end. As I pulled through the gates of the delivery depot in Naantali, there was a real sense of accomplishment. The long haul from Andenes was complete. The trip covered an impressive 1,603 kilometers, taking me from the rugged coastline of northern Norway, across breathtaking mountain roads, through endless Finnish forests, and finally to the busy port city on Finland's southwest coast. What began as a routine freight run quickly turned into one of the most memorable deliveries I've completed. Along the way, we encountered traffic jams, reckless overtakes, vehicles drifting into the wrong lane, major road blockages, and several situations that demanded patience and quick decision-making. Every challenge was another reminder that professional trucking isn't just about driving. It's about anticipating the unexpected and staying calm under pressure. Despite all the delays, the Mercedes handled the journey flawlessly. The chimney system's cargo remained secure throughout the trip, fuel management stayed on target, and most importantly, the trailer arrived without a scratch. That's always the goal of every delivery, not just arriving, but arriving safely. With the depot in sight, it was time for one final test, carefully reversing the trailer into the unloading bay. After hours of driving forward, precision parking is often the last challenge standing between a driver and a successful job. A few careful steering corrections, a quick check of the mirrors, and the trailer was perfectly lined up for unloading. Mission accomplished. The engine falls silent, the parking brake is applied, and another successful Nordic adventure is added to the logbook. From the Arctic landscapes of Andenes to the coastal docks of Naantali, this journey showcased some of the finest scenery Euro Truck Simulator 2 has to offer, while proving that every long-haul trip comes with its own unique story. If you've traveled this route with me from start to finish, thank you for coming along for the ride. I hope you enjoyed the scenery, the challenges, and the immersive experience of life behind the wheel. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next long-haul adventure. Until the next delivery, drive safely, keep the shiny side up, and I'll see you on the open road.